How did you guys come up with Soaak Technologies?
Your audience may really resonate with this because it has to do with finance. This was a big deal.
And they're actually using frequency medicine on terminally ill patients to reduce tumors, to get rid of things like candida, to get rid of parasites.
Clients would tell me they slept better than they slept in years. And
Some random
That
person
had
gave
been
you $500,000?
transferred into her account.
the least expensive and the most effective. Like, let's do that for the people.
And then you guys partnered with the U.S. Air Force. How did that all come about?
We started seeing outcomes like we'd never seen before with any of the other modalities. So people getting help with anxiety, depression. So we took half the clinic and turned it into a sound frequency spa.
And this frequency therapy was working so well on so many levels for so many different ailments. We have to get this on an app. I want to be able to provide this to somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning when they're having a panic attack or when they can't sleep.
All the stuff that you're saying is what I think the masses need to learn about.
You're going to take 30 supplements and hope one works and have side effects from all the ones that don't. Frequencies aren't like that.
People, especially women, hated her because she...
I'm really excited to bring you guys on the show is because when my team discovered, Soaak Technologies, they were like, listen, there's this technology company and all they're doing is kind of regulating the nervous system and through frequencies. And I've been gung-ho on frequency medicine since last year. I got really curious because I went to this place called a warehouse in Sarasota and I did a 3-day immersion with these 3 incredible practitioners and they taught me all about nervous system sovereignty and how to expand and how to kind of go within. And a lot of it was done with frequency, with sound, with different modalities. And so when I came across Soaak Technologies, I told the team, I was like, we have to get these guys on the show because I'm so interested with the new evolution of health and wellness and where we're going and finally paying attention to something like frequencies
Yes.
and frequency medicine.
Right.
So Lauren, Henry, thank you for coming on to Biohack-it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
How did you guys come up with Soaak Technologies? I'm just fascinated the backstory of how you guys were like, we have an idea, but how are we going to prove this idea? And then you guys partnered with the U.S. Air Force. How did that all come about?
Yeah. So I'll kind of set it up and then let you tell the story because you had so much to do with it. So we actually started in clinic. So about 10 years ago, we started in clinic that had different modalities, more holistic type modalities for certain outcomes. So people were coming in with anxiety, depression, and nervous system problems and all that. And so we started to kind of sample some of the frequencies back at that time. And the more we sampled with them and put certain frequencies together, making sound frequency compositions, not just one frequency, but from 5 to 25 frequencies that were put together with a certain cadence, a tone, a tune, a volume, and all that, we started seeing outcomes like we'd never seen before with any of the other modalities. So people getting help with anxiety, depression, all of this stuff. So much so we took half the clinic and turned it into a sound frequency spa. So you would walk in and there was these, 15-foot ceilings, these beautiful drapes.
And where was this, by the way?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, you would sit down and just chill and pick out what you wanted help with, whether it was anxiety, depression, low energy, hormone balancing, all that. Sit there. A lot of people would just chill and go to sleep, and they would wake up a brand new person. And that happened so often and at a consistent rate. My wife, Laura, said, can we get this modality out to other people? And, the first thing you think is, I don't want to expand and create 500 of these clinics.
Right.
So what could we do using technology? Because I'd had another technology company. We were in all the Apple stores worldwide, blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of knew that, and she knew that I knew that. And I took some of that team, put some people together to try and get the same clinical efficacy that people were paying in clinic $1,000 a month to experience. I was trying to take that and get the same efficacy through an app. So it took us about 2 years, a lot of time, a lot of money. We finally got the same efficacy and we launched. So that's the like 30,000 foot view. So now you can rewind and
And Laura, when he was building all of this, what was your kind of thought process? You're like, we're going to look crazy, we're going to look woo-woo, but we believe so much in what we're doing. Like, what was your take on it?
Yeah, so I was in the weeds. I was in the clinic, working in the clinic, actually the one seeing the results with the clients, getting the phone calls the next day when the clients would tell me they slept better than they slept in years. And so I'm just watching all this happen. I'm not a practitioner. I just run the business. So I just managed the different practitioners that were there. So I had the luxury of kind of being outside of any specific schooling or modality. I'm just watching this all happen.
The real data coming out in real time.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just there for the client. I'm like, I would like to find something that is the least expensive and the most effective. Like, let's do that for the people instead of making them spend so much money, because natural medicine is very expensive.
Yeah.
And so this is just something that I saw year after year. Like, this is years of me seeing this, in our clinic. And this frequency therapy was working so well on so many levels. I mean, for so many different ailments. And so I watched this happen, and I, like you said, I finally was like, we have to get this on an app, because, I want to be able to provide this to somebody at 2:00 in the morning when they're having a panic attack or when they can't sleep,
Right.
or, for whatever reason. It needs to be accessible 24/7. And so I just got very passionate about getting this online and making it more accessible and making it very inexpensive, because frequency therapy can help with so many things, and all you have to do is listen.
Yeah.
You can listen while you're sleeping. You can listen while you're washing the dishes. Like, you can listen whenever. And so your body and your cells get a reset at any point in the day just from the frequency therapy. So it makes a huge difference.
So for me, what's really fascinating about frequency therapy is now we know for a fact scientifically that our bodies are all made of frequency, right?
Right.
And each organ, and Chinese medicine has said this for decades, right? Each organ even has its own frequency.
Right.
And so now we've taken something that was considered so woo-woo, and now that you have wearables and trackable data to kind of like put this into context and put this into practice, you're able to really see all the incredible effects it can have with people with anxiety, with cancer, with all this stuff. And they're actually using frequency medicine on terminally ill patients to reduce tumors, to get rid of things like candida, to get rid of parasites. Specific frequencies are run for parasites. So it's incredible to see the evolution of what frequency medicine is and what it's becoming.
Yes.
Right. I love the fact that frequencies have been around as long as time has been around, because everything emits in frequencies. And before, you couldn't prove it. But now with supercomputing and quantum computing, AI, things like that, you can really do a deep dive.
Yeah.
And now we can prove that we can change your cellular makeup. When your cells are oscillating a certain way, and that oscillation is almost like a square tire. It's off.
Yeah.
You woke up those mornings and you didn't know what was wrong, but you knew you just weren't yourself. It feels like you're clunking along with a square tire. So when we created the sound frequency compositions, just 1 minute of background there,
Right.
when we created those compositions and created something that when you put two things together and one thing's listening to the other, that's called sympathetic resonance. So one thing resonates from the other. It's like the tuning fork. If you've ever seen the tuning fork example, you hit a tuning fork in one hand, you hold another one next to it, and without touching it, it will start to resonate the exact same wavelength. It's resonating, sympathetic resonance. So when we create a digital frequency that is built, it's a composition. So it's many frequencies that are built for, let's say, anxiety or depression, and you listen to that and you listen to it through your ears, that frequency cannot change because it's digital. Your frequency can change because you have mind, will, and emotions. So when that thing is sounding off and it won't change, the law of sympathetic resonance says this is now going to resonate to what this is.
And
all
pair.
all of a sudden, that square tire is a round tire and you're humming.
Right.
So in a very layman's terms, that's what we do.
As someone who's always drawn to wellness products that are simple, effective, and actually help you understand your body, which is why I'm so excited to share the Hormone Zoomer by Vibrant Wellness, a company I love and trust. It's an advanced at-home test that gives you real insight into your energy, mood, and overall balance. That's why I trust Vibrant. It combines standard of care labs with genetics and innovative biomarkers backed backed by over 400 researchers and more than 40 peer-reviewed studies. I took the Hormone Zoomer myself and finally getting clear answers behind signs and symptoms I'd always blamed on stress or too much travel, which was extremely empowering to me. It measures up to 3 times the markers of typical hormone panels, including hormones, adrenal, and bone health, oxidative stress, and endocrine disruptors, and toxins like glyphosate and phthalates. Essentially 5 tests in one. And with Vibrant's network of over 30,000 trained providers, you get expert interpretation and a plan that makes sense for your body and your needs. If you're ready to understand what your body's been trying to tell you, ask your provider for the Hormone Zoomer or find a Vibrant certified provider at vibrant-wellness.com/biohack-it, because understanding your body changes everything. I also want to ask you, because people listening might think about this, there's things like Soaak frequencies or Rife frequencies that people can just get on YouTube and online or Spotify.
Yep.
What is the difference between Soaak and these other kind of frequencies that are available online?
Yep.
Yep.
So let me take a shot at this
Sure.
first. Okay. So the Soaak sound frequencies are frequency compositions. So we don't say, listen to 432 and
Right.
your anxiety is going to go down. We did a study of many frequencies that may affect anxiety or depression or, whatever it may. And when we did that, we found that when you combine frequencies, because frequencies are, they are, what word am I? Adaptogenic.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll adapt to whatever you need as you're listening to it. And
Right.
whatever you don't need, it just goes by the wayside. So when we put these frequency compositions together with many frequencies, we're hitting that anxiety at 20 different angles. And what you don't need when you listen to it won't hurt you. It just falls by the wayside. But what you do need will touch that anxiety point and get that square tire round again and let it go. Well, the thing is, we don't know which one is going to be effective on you versus me.
Right.
Because your body will respond to different things, because I don't know the cellular makeup of your body and where your energetic flow may be on or off. But I do know that through our research, one of those 25 frequencies is going to affect that to the point through sympathetic resonance. When you listen to it, it starts to smooth everything out for you. So that's just a short version.
Yeah, and this is something that we did in clinic. So we were able to over years and many different people and many different symptoms and ailments, we were able to kind of test and see what worked the best. So we would take the top 10. Well, we have 30, but the top 30 ailments that people dealt with, and we would put these frequency compositions together. So it's like, if you come in with a headache, there could be 10 different reasons you have a headache. You could be dehydrated, a lack of sleep, it could be stress, it could be nervous
Low
system,
magnesium, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things. And so when we were creating these frequency compositions, when our practitioners were kind of roundtabling this, we kind of whiteboard what are all the things that could be causing anxiety. What's any and everything that could be causing anxiety? Okay, depression, sleeplessness. And so we went through that, and that's how we created the frequency compositions, where a holistic view of why the symptom may be happening. And like you said, the frequencies are adaptogenic. And so it's not like taking supplements where you're going to take 30 supplements and hope one works and have side effects from all the ones that don't. Frequencies aren't like that. Your body will just oscillate at the frequency it needs and kind of discard everything else. So,
And have you guys done any research where you've taken your frequencies at Soaak and kind of paired it or matched it against something like a Rife or a Soaak frequencies and seen people are absorbing the Soaak frequencies better than these other frequencies out there?
Yeah, a lot of our frequencies, if you look at the Rife book of frequencies, it's this book that's very, very thick. And when he started to discover and uncover some of those frequencies that worked with certain problems to get certain outcomes, so, anxiety, depression, low energy, we're talking about all that, he discovered what that frequency modulation was. So in hertz, how many hertz is
Each
this?
one
And
is.
he said, this is a 432. This is a, and he went on and on and on in this book. So what we did was it's the same type of frequency, but it's just presented in a totally different way. So like I said earlier, frequencies have been around since time because everything emits a frequency. But with supercomputing and quantum computing and
Mhm.
all of that, we can just now break into that and offer frequencies in a very positive way to help people with certain outcomes. Like
Right.
that's the most exciting thing about our entire company is that we're at the intersection of this thing that's been around forever, but with the technology that has just become available to make it
People
good
are
for
just starting
people.
to understand it.
Right. And
Exactly. Yeah,
accept
that's like it just you want to pinch yourself. Like and every day something new comes out about
Yeah.
it. And it was like, yes, they're doing it just like you said. They're doing it for this reason and that reason. And we're going, yeah, we were saying that like
We've
10
been
years
doing
ago.
that
Yeah, but they didn't want to
years.
believe it back then,
No, no. Well, they
Right.
couldn't because you couldn't really prove it
Yeah.
then, but now you
Right.
can.
I also want to ask you guys are doing a really interesting partnership with the U.S. Air Force. So how did that come about?
Yeah. I'll let you take this one.
Well,
This is his department.
yeah. Well, so the Air Force had a couple of programs available, and they wanted to get in the Air Force. They wanted to get the pilot ready and have sort of a mission readiness. So in that mission readiness, it's what you do a few days before you deploy, and then when you are deployed, and say it's a 2 or 3 day mission, and you only may have a window of 3 to 4 hours to sleep at a time and you want to get deep REM sleep, you really want to get the restorative
Yeah.
sleep and all of that, and then you want to wake up and have something that can really get you going. Well, in the past, the military has used what they call slow pills and go pills.
Okay.
So the slow pills will help you sleep. The go pills will get you up. The slow pills, however, over time, with things like Ambien and things like that, have a negative effect on your body. So they wanted something and first open their eyes to more of a holistic approach on could a frequency do this instead of necessarily a medication.
Yeah.
And let me just make this statement: we're not the guys that come say never take a medication. Like
Right.
if it's needed, I think science in that field is also evolving. And if you need a medication, take it. I'm not telling anyone to get off their medication. We just say, try what we have. Give this a try as a more holistic modality and see what happens, see the side effects. So anyway, they threw that out at us and we said, we can do that. We can offer you something. We did one contract to kind of prove the concept. It was
And how
proven.
many people did you guys work with right off the bat?
They really didn't tell us. It was
Okay.
undefined. It was created to do entire branches. So a lot. And then the second contract that we did, actually, we put it in the hands of people to use and to start reading these outcomes, and so it could start reading their biometrics from their wearables and that whole thing. So, but yeah, it came about. We competed for the award, and when it
Wow.
got to that point, they said, "Yeah, we believe in you guys. We want to award you this." They gave us 18 months to do it and to prove what we needed to prove, and it was successful. So we're working on additional awards right now, but we've completed 2 very successful ones.
And are they still using the frequencies and, working with you guys in partnership depending what missions they're going on and what they have going on?
Yes, we have that deployed in several different branches of several different organizations. I didn't understand the magnitude of the military,
Yeah.
and we had just kind of worked with the Air Force.
Yep.
But when you start talking about there's an agency called SOCOM, a department called SOCOM that has Marines, Navy, Air Force, all of
Yeah.
that, and we're starting to work with some of those guys as well, and that's exciting because then it bleeds out to the other branches. But almost as important, the things that we've learned over the last 6 months is it's not just the war fighter, but it's their family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's effective.
So many times the family goes through more stress.
Yeah, knowing
the
that they don't
actual-
know when they're going to hear from their partner.
If
They're
they're gonna
coming
Where's
home,
my
are they not?
husband? Where's the father of my kids?
They're not answering. They're on a mission. They're deployed. All that stuff. The
Exactly.
Yeah.
anxiety that they go
Yeah.
through.
100%. So
I think the U.S. Army and all of this is so fascinating. So just before we started the show, I told you about this documentary I started to watch called Disclosure.
Yep.
And in that, it basically takes you through interviewing all of these Air Force pilots that were on different missions and really you're talking about top of the line, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And they talk about how the aliens are real.
Right.
And it's called disclosure. And they talk about these little Tic Tacs that they've seen while being deployed to different places. And it was just so fascinating to me to be like, okay, I'm still kind of going through it. I just started it last night, but they're like, there are 5 different species of aliens. And I'm like, Joe Rogan's been talking about this for ages. They thought the guy was crazy. And now there's a full-fledged documentary on it.
Right.
So I feel like when it comes to the U.S. Navy, Army, Air Force, all of that stuff, and the CIA, they do a lot more investigation onto things and try things out that other countries may not test, or maybe it's not out with the masses because they do want to be the best at what they do. And it's fascinating kind of watching this documentary and kind of going through where they're interviewing real lieutenants, and people would come out of the Air Force saying, no, we ran these missions. We saw these Tic Tacs, and they would like come in, they're called, they would be on certain sites, and they would then just disappear, and we would track them. We're like, they're not deploying any fuel. This is not a jet plane. Like, they're not dumping any fuel at the back. The way they're flying is weird. The way they just disperse is crazy. And so it's interesting to see this partnership with the U.S. Air Force, because it shows you the mindset that they may be onto something that the masses are not onto.
Right.
And they're not disclosing everything, like disclosure, yet to the masses, which I think is fascinating. Spring cleaning looks a little different in my house these days. It's not just about organizing my closets. It's about what I'm actually bringing into my space, especially as someone who cares deeply about my metabolic health and lowering overall toxin burden load. I've been using Branch Basics for almost 5 years, and it's just one of those swaps that totally makes sense to me. I used to have a whole cabinet of different cleaners, all with ingredients I couldn't even pronounce. And the more I learned about hormonal health and environmental toxins, the more that started to bother me. So I switched. What I love is that everything is built around one powerful concentrate. I dilute it to clean my kitchen, bathrooms, laundry, floors, even produce and makeup brushes. It's plant-based and mineral-based, fragrance-free, and made safe certified, which means it's screened against known and suspected harmful chemicals that we do not want in our homes or in our bodies. It feels aligned with how I live. I'm not extreme about everything, but I am intentional. And this is one of those small shifts that adds up day in and day out. If you're doing a reset in your home, I really encourage you to look at what's under your sink too. Branch Basics is available at Target.com, Target in-store, Amazon, and of course, branchbasics.com. You can get 20% off at branchbasics.com with code Biohack-it20, which is BIOHACKIT 20. After you purchase, make sure you tell them you heard about them from our show, because a clean home should actually feel clean also for your body.
Right. Well, one of the recent things that they saw with different technologies that the U.S. had were when they invaded, I'm drawing a blank. What?
Venezuela?
Was it
Recently?
Venezuela?
How long ago?
Yeah, no, just like
Venezuela,
a couple
Greenland.
months.
Yeah, Venezuela.
Yeah, Venezuela, I think.
Yeah.
And everybody was like just almost frozen. Like they went through that period of time that was frozen, and nobody knew what it was. So to your point, there's some things that the military tests out and tries out that you just don't know until they release it, and then because
If
they want to be the best of the best.
and they want to release it in our lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. But the pilots, reporting this stuff, I mean, they have no reason to lie.
No,
they're like, I saw this.
No, they talked. There's a bunch of pilots, and they're coming on one by one, and they're all talking about how on top of military sites or nuclear sites, they were seeing these Tic Tacs come on, and supposedly these Tic Tacs can go on, and all of a sudden the whole nuclear plant shuts down. They're like, what the hell is this?
Yes.
With just this
happened.
one thing being on top. And then they're like, we're going into panic because the masses are not ready for something like this, right? And you have people like Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson and all have been talking about this for ages.
Right.
But they're like, you guys are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. But so... And for something like this to air, obviously it's been allowed in order to allow U.S. pilots to come online and talk about things like this. They're obviously allowing it.
Right.
So I'm just excited to see this whole curtain being lifted and frequencies and things like this being applied to better our life, our health, and different things, just the way of being for us as human beings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for saying that, because we, quantum computing and all of that kind of made frequencies more real, and things that you can actually measure, supercomputing and all of that, measuring energy fields, measuring the field around you right now that's up to 6 feet around you and all that. I'm sure you've heard of that. Those are real things that we can measure. But before, it was almost like that stuff is just so wooey that people almost didn't want to believe it. but now that you
The data is
are,
pointing in
Yeah.
that direction.
That's right.
it's all backed by that.
Yeah.
And she used to tell me, a long time ago, this is scientific, and I was saying, well, it's not really
Yeah,
yet.
like Laura, I don't know
But
yet.
so she knew she was
I knew
like
it was
the
wooey,
forerunner.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm watching this work. I see it with my own eyes.
And the people are changing, and it's like trackable.
Yes.
You guys also have 99% sleep efficiency that goes up
Yes.
using the frequencies.
Yeah, that was crazy.
99% is
Yes.
a lot,
Yes.
guys.
We have had some
Considering
amazing
poor quality
testimonials.
sleep is one of the fastest things that's going to age you and
Yep.
get you into chronic disease.
100%.
You cannot out biohack sleep. Like you
Yes.
have to get a certain amount of sleep a night, and it has to be deep sleep and REM sleep. And once in a while you can mitigate that, but if you consistently do it, your body will
Right.
break down.
Right.
There's no amount of biohack supplements or technologies out there that can mitigate that.
Yes.
Sleep is a huge deal for us. We partnered with an agency that actually looked at people who use sleep well frequencies. We've actually got a frequency called Sleep Well, and it's one of our most popular frequencies out there. We're in 190 countries. We've done over 70 million minutes of frequency therapies, and that's continuing to be our number one frequency. So we had a company measure that against 800 million hours of sleep. Try to get your head around that. 800 million hours of sleep. And where sleep efficiency ratings would be, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, when they compared that to people that use soak sound frequencies, it was up to 99, and most of them were 99%. While that was going on within the same month, just to show you how things sort of work out, we had a 4-star general really get behind our program, and he was using the Sleep Well sound frequencies. Sleep Well in particular. And he came to us and he said, well, how did you guys make this? Like,
We're not telling you.
Hey guys, what's going on here? He said, I use a wearable. He was wearing Whoop, and Whoop was tracking his sleep and everything. And he knew he was going to have a meeting with us. So he was using the Sleep Well frequencies for about 30 days. The day before our meeting, he went into the Whoop AI and said, what's my sleep been the last 30 days as compared to the last 3, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And the Whoop AI came back and said, your sleep efficiency went from 45% to 99%. Keep using soak sound frequencies. I go, will you send me that screenshot?
Yeah, please. You should use it for marketing.
And he did. No, he did. And it blew, I mean, it, but it still like blows you away to see something.
Yeah, because you're like, I came up with this idea, and to see it put to practice and real people using this and applying the data and research, and it's coming back. It's like, we were onto something,
Right.
You're like, we really created something incredible to help people recover faster, optimize their health. Like we're contributing to society in a way.
Yes.
And like you said, you
100%.
can't
Very validating.
out hack sleep, because when people get the right amount of sleep and REM sleep and restorative sleep, like you can get REM and restorative sleep in a 6-hour window and be better off than somebody who slept 10 hours.
Absolutely.
that
It's the quality of your
didn't
sleep.
didn't get the quality. So when we can ensure that happens, then all of a sudden things like anxiety, depression, low energy, if you get the right sleep and the right restorative sleep, I mean, that takes care of it. Yeah.
How do you guys mitigate for things like somebody might ask, like a lot of people say, hey, EMFs can be so terrible for you as well. Like turn off your internet at night and, put your phone away. And EMFs are a huge problem when it comes to frequencies and messing up your frequencies in your body. When it comes to that, what do you guys like respond to something like that?
The good news is you don't have to have it next to you.
Okay.
So you can put it on a table or bench way away. You can run the frequencies through your home speakers. There's so many. You can use bone conducting headsets. You don't even have to have it.
And you can download the frequencies on the app.
Yeah, so you can play it on headphones. It doesn't have to be near you. So you kind of mitigate all this EMF stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you guys said you're growing globally. Like there's so many different. What is the fastest growing country currently for you guys?
That's a great question.
Well, it started in the U.S., so the U.S. was the fastest
to
growing
adapt,
country.
yeah.
Yeah. And then it went into Germany, the UK, and Germany is an interesting one because
Germany. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect that because in my history with the German population, I've authored books and spoken German and all that. I don't speak German. I had a translator, but I spoke there.
Yeah.
And just the way they pick everything apart and everything's got to be so precise and exact, and which is great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that
They would
have.
adapt to something like this.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
the US and Germany, and what was the third?
the UK.
The UK.
Yeah, that was really, really growing very quickly. So, but we've got a little pin chart in our map at our corporate office, and we hit our 190th country just a few months ago.
That's amazing.
So, and I think there's only maybe 192 or 4 or something like that.
And what do you think the fastest way, the reason you guys are growing, is it because more people are looking for technology like this? Is it because there's more education around it? Do you think it's because you guys are going out on more media tours? Like, what is the reason that people are finding Soak?
Yeah.
I think it's all the above. I think they're getting results, and when you're after something like anxiety, depression, low energy, I can't sleep, you'll almost do anything to try something out that will help. And I think with frequencies, like my wife said earlier, it's like it's too easy. Like people needed to be educated that this is really working on your system as you're listening to it. And when they find that it's that easy, they go tell 10 people.
Yeah.
And it just snowballs like that. So the smartest thing she did was not try to expand physical locations, but go on the app and and get me to work to get it out.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of friends, that are influencers or affluent, type people that talk about it, love it, use it, really promote us. We do a lot of, marketing and advertising and, all the things, because that was partly my passion behind all this, is the whole world needs to know about this because it's so easy. Everybody can use it no matter where they're at. As long as you have internet long enough to download the frequency on your phone, you can use it. And so then he got to work doing all that.
You know what I found fascinating also is that even supplements, depending on where they're made, manufactured, and what is the ingredients and compound in it, also has different frequencies.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it was a year and a half ago, I was taking this, and I still take it. It's a supplement, I swear, but it's by Body Bio. It's called PC, phosphatidylcholine. And essentially your cell membrane is made up of full spectrum of phospholipids.
Right.
So anyways, I did this, I went to this doctor in New Jersey that I was seeing, and I did these PC IVs, and I came back and I was heading out to a retreat shortly after that.
Right.
And I had the most insanely profound experience on this retreat because I killed off a lot of parasites, bacteria, all of this stuff, and my cells were padded with all these phospholipids. But I never had an experience like this. So I called the doctor after I came back from this retreat, and I was like, I was almost discombobulated because I had such an out-of-body experience.
Wow.
And when I called her and I had my follow-up and I was like, hey, I went to this retreat after our treatments and I had this experience. She was like, did you know that the frequency of PC is one of the highest frequencies you can find? And the medicine resonates like that. And the center I went to, a warehouse in Sarasota, they obviously have different brands all there, and they do a lot of the nervous system reset work.
Right.
They said this is one brand and product that always comes back with the highest frequency and tests positive for every single person who takes it. Like when they muscle test you, when the frequency test you, everybody's able to absorb it, retain it. Because absorption also varies from person to person.
Right.
Of course.
This is one brand, and these products that they've developed resonate really well on a cellular level.
Right.
And I think it's how they're manufacturing it and how they're kind of producing it and putting it together. So even like the foods you eat, where they're sourced from, the water.
Yep.
Right. Yes.
Not to have stagnant water. Water has its own frequency, which is
huge.
why they should have moving water at all
That's
times.
right.
Frequencies are tied to so many different things. So it's not only sound you take in, but it's also
That's
how
right.
you're consuming things.
That's right.
That makes such a big difference, which shows you on a cellular level how important frequency is.
Yeah.
This was like an MD from
Yeah.
Cornell who told me this.
That is
I
so
called her and I was
cool.
like, hey, I went through this and stuff. It was like a proper full-fledged MD.
Yeah.
Right.
And to hear from her, somebody else would have told me, I'd be like, oh, you're being woo-woo. But she literally was like, this is, yes, I'm not surprised you had this experience because PC is one of the highest frequencies of a molecule.
Right.
Yeah, that
And
is
I was
so cool.
shocked,
I've never heard that
Yeah,
before.
I have to send
That's
you guys some of it because it's
really
amazing.
interesting.
But it's so important to even see, you can literally take your blood out, put it in a little petri dish, and run a frequency on your blood and see
Right.
it change
Yeah.
completely in a dish when you're looking at it
It's
under a
fascinating.
microscope.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what really helped us in clinic too, because we also recommended certain supplements, and I still take certain supplements as well. So
What do you
there's-
take
I'm not
currently right
saying-
now?
Oh gosh, I take like a good. So I did the methylation test, and so I took some methylated 1-a-day vitamins.
Amazing.
Like I'll do some fish oil, some L-arginine. I'll take, I started taking the urolithin A
Okay.
for cellular makeup. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen that
Yeah,
or
yeah,
heard
yeah.
about that, but I really saw a difference. I saw a difference in the gym. Like all my lifts started to go up, and I was going, "This is pretty cool."
Yeah,
You
the
take more.
recovery.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the recovery. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is. And starting at the cell engine
Right.
is
That's
where all
everything.
that
Yep.
happens. Yeah. So yeah, just a few of those. I kind of laughed because I took a handful today right before I came here, but it helps. It helped us in the clinic because a lot of people could not take supplements. And what you just said was not everybody absorbs them at the same rate. So you've got your whole digestive system to think about, you've got the blood-brain barrier to think about and all that. Frequency bypasses all that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally a frequency for every vitamin out there. So there's
Right.
the frequency for vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin
For better
whatever.
absorption and
Yeah,
retention.
D and
Yeah.
K2 are the other two I take. But yeah, so you can take that and it totally lights you up. The thing you said about water is our bodies are composed of over 70% water.
Yeah.
Some people rate higher, some people are down closer to 70%, but almost like a battery in a car, when it has all water in it and you've got enough water in it, the connections are made much easier. So we tell people when they're taking frequencies to drink a lot of water, really
Right.
stay hydrated, drink the right water, the running water.
Electrolytes, minerals, all of
Yeah,
that stuff needs to
whole
be
9
in.
yards, and it all works together.
Mhm.
We're not saying we're the answer.
It's part of the ecosystem of everything
It's
that you're
part of
doing.
it. It's part of it, and if you plug into that, you get amazing results.
Yeah, and kind of on the flip side of that is our thought process. So this is something else at Soak that we're very big on about teaching and education, and this is absolutely free. Is what you're thinking, you're creating your own reality. Everything is vibration, and so it's like the whole concept of blessing your food. It's speaking life to what you're putting in your body because it is a frequency, and you can change the frequency by your thoughts and by your
Mhm.
words. And so that's to us, it's just as important as pushing play and actually hearing the sound of the frequency is the thoughts you're thinking,
Yeah.
So developing
What you think about, you
good,
bring about.
yeah,
Yeah.
developing good, healthy thought patterns is changing the frequency of your blueprint of who you are and the reality that you're creating in the moment. So it's so important to, hold positivity inside of your mind.
Right.
And then that makes that emotion positive, which then makes your
Yeah.
your reality a positive environment.
It's so funny you were saying that. So days that I'm having a really stressful day because I'm building and running 2 businesses, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this founder life. And you probably would feel it as well.
Right.
I always tell myself that the quantum has everything that I need and require, but if I can tune in enough to myself to access it, it's already there.
That's
It's already
right. I love
existed. I wouldn't have this thought, or I wouldn't create, like you guys have created this idea. It would not exist unless it was already in the field.
That's right.
That's why
Correct.
you've been able to tune into it through frequency and bring it here, right?
That's right.
Correct.
So days that I'm having a really bad day, I'm like, whatever I want is already out there.
That's
I just need to be
right.
able to slow myself down or whatever it is to tune into that
That's
in order
right.
to
Yeah.
access
Well,
that.
That's right.
I'm so glad you said that because this whole company started out by when she was. This is a very long story, and I'll just hit the very, very big highlights, but I think it's important and your audience may really resonate with this because it has to do with finance. This was a big deal. She had a business partner that kind of really messed her around, and we weren't married yet. And I was trying to encourage her and all this, and she says, "I'm going to do this myself, and I don't want any help. I'm going to get through this." And it was a very bad deal that this person did, so much so that there were starting to be like collection letters and things coming to her, and it was a very, very hard time. It
Right.
was 12, 15 years ago, something like that. And so she started writing her own protocol about thinking and imagining and having the right intention for needing a certain dollar amount to get out of this mess and listening to frequencies and, just making this whole thing. It was like a little mini version of Soak way back then. And about 2 or 3 months later, after she was doing, maybe 6 months later, after doing all this stuff, she got a call. And this person said, "Hey, I've got a person that I know who you've never met, but they want to bless you." And she's like, "Okay, I don't
And
like
just like bless you as
is it an
As in, like, give me
investment?
money.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
an investment? Is it, what exactly is it?" And they go, "No, they just want to bless you." And I go, "Okay, well, what does that mean? What
And the
strings are
person who
attached?"
called you, did you know who they were?
I knew the person that called me, but I didn't know the person that they were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
person that just wanted to bless him. And so I come in and I'm like, "Babe, don't get your hopes up. Like people say this and, no telling what it's going to be,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah." So a very, very long story short, they tell her on a Friday that we're going to put some money in your account on Monday, and we hope this helps. She still has never met these people. Like it's still like 15 years later.
What?
Yeah.
She had a number in her mind that would get rid of all the financial problems that these other people had caused and really put her on a great
Yeah.
deal. Monday at noon, when she looked at her account, there was $500,000
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Some random
that
person
had
gave
been
you
that had been
$500,000?
transferred into her account, and she was going, thank God. She was prayerful about it. She did this whole protocol, and then they sent her a form to fill out so she wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. They wanted to pay the taxes also.
I was like, I actually didn't ask for that part.
I know.
How do you not
Very
go looking
powerful
for these
woman right here.
people?
No.
Very powerful woman.
Laura,
right
you're
here.
not leaving until I
I will
get this
teach you.
protocol.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but what you said, it's the whole frequency thing.
You
that-
attract what you're ready to receive
That's
when you're
right.
ready to receive it.
That's
right. But when you're you go within and you'll never go without.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go within and you start to calm your system down, I believe we're fearfully and wonderfully made. I think we've got everything we ever need to get whatever we ever want. And I think a desire comes from the field, the Father, God. I think desire, the Latin root word means sire, which means of the Father. So when you get a desire, that's the sire saying you've got everything you were created with
To create,
originally
yes.
to manifest
Yes.
that. So we know that. So a big deal for us with frequencies, and we don't talk about this a lot, but is to get you in that position where you stop for 5, 10. Our frequencies are 20-minute runs, but in if it's 5 minutes, if you've got 5 minutes a day to listen to a frequency and start clearing your mind and letting those things come to you that you were born for, so that you just don't wind up at some destination later in your life. You wind up at your destiny.
Yeah.
You wind up at that spot that you need to be in.
Yeah.
And we think these frequencies play a big role in that.
In
Yeah.
getting you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever try to reach out to this person and be like,
She's
I want
back
to
on
be
the money.
back on
Yeah,
the
I did.
Laura, I want to ask you
Wait.
something. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're not going past that.
No. I have something for you as well, but you have to tell me.
I did.
You?
I did.
I'm
So
teasing.
I never met them face to face, but they called me and I got to talk to them. And I've emailed them since with progress updates every couple years, telling them, because that really launched Soaak. That was before the Soaak app. That was when I was in clinic. And so
Right.
that was like my driving force. I'm like, this works.
Yeah.
The whole concept of manifestation and frequencies and creating your reality and the whole thing that I went through.
Yeah.
I proved it to myself through that experience. And I had a couple other really cool experiences that didn't have to do with money, but big, huge miracles that
miracles
happened
that
for
came,
me
yeah.
that only me and him knew about.
Right.
Because I was like in my quiet place, like
Yeah,
literally.
you were super zoned in.
Yeah. And so I made it my job.
People, especially women, hated her because she had the intention of losing a certain amount of weight and listened to frequencies and kept that intention and held it. And the pounds dropped and she didn't
And I
do
didn't do
anything else.
Yeah.
It
And
was-
The inflammation was dropping because your
Yeah.
body's like, I can release this. That
Exactly.
It
no
was
longer
releasing the
serves me.
toxins and everything.
I'm
Yeah.
not in fear anymore. I don't need to be
That's right.
protected
Yes.
That's right.
by
Yes.
access weight or
That's
whatever
right.
I'm trying to keep around me
Yes.
to protect me.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. But, I will say this. It was months and months of me treating this like a job, like
Mhm.
my intention. And it was a daily practice of, 30 minutes an hour, maybe 2 hours of going into my quiet place
Right.
and setting my intention and holding that elevated emotion, while I go through this process. So, I proved it to myself. And then after that, we were like, okay, fire, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Yep.
Soaak. Yeah.
It's Henry, and what you were saying earlier is so important as well. You create where you're able to bring into your reality, kind of bring into your awareness. So the same retreat that I just told you about, during that retreat, I had this insane experience and I literally had a download that like, are you ready to really see who you are? Because I'll show you who you are if you're ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And I said, what does that even mean? They're like, I'm going to show you who you are. And every time that comes up, it was God
Yeah.
and it's like, I will show you. And every time you will remember where it came from.
Yes.
And I still remember it was October 2024, this retreat, and things started like taking off so quickly for me. I got put in groups with people, imagining myself in rooms with people. I'm like, how am I even here?
I
Yeah.
know.
How
We've
am I
said the
even
same
arrived
thing.
here?
Yeah.
Like, who put me here?
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
for a minute,
right,
I'm like,
right.
I'm an imposter. Like, what? I
Right.
should not even be in this
Yeah.
room, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
And people started coming into my life at like rapid speed.
Wow.
Right.
And just the other day, and this is where vision boards like tie into all
Sure.
of this stuff as well. really do vision boards. My girlfriends were getting together a couple of weeks ago. I just came back from the Bali. They're like, let's do a vision board because we had a friend. She's like, everything I wanted came through on my vision board. And us 3 girlfriends were like, oh, we have a lot to manifest. Like, let's get together and do a vision board.
Right.
Then I go through my closet. I go home and I look through 2 old vision boards that I had done. And one was done exactly just right after this October 2024 retreat. And literally the people that I had placed on that vision board, I just started the show. They have come into my life and they're really big names. There was like Dave Asprey was on my vision board for all him listening. And he's now a friend and he's a client and he was on the show. And I was like, there were so many other things that I just put down as a thought to attract it into my life because I was ready to receive it. And it literally started manifesting at this rapid pace. After this retreat that I was like shocked, you know? So when you create that intention and you get in line with it and you drown down the noise and you tell yourself, I'm safe, I'm ready to receive, and you're not in scarcity, but you're in abundance, things will start unfolding. But most of us are living like this. We're at the edge of our seat at all times. We're like, shit. I was like that a few days ago. I'm like, I need to calm myself down. Things are going to work out when they're, you know, because entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. You know, you have a lot of ups. No, it's not for the faint-hearted. And you have so much responsibility. But I always tell myself, with the places that I slow down and I'm able to take a little bit away from the noise is when things come full circle.
Yeah, that's right. And it's actually funny you say that because me and him have kind of a running joke. And I always say, I can get more done sitting here quietly for an hour, not speaking, than you can in 10 hours grinding on the computer. You know, because it's that.
I'm not quite there yet.
You're like, I'm not quite with her. Isn't this a woman who has $500,000 in her account? Okay, I think you need to take a page out of her book.
I think you're right.
But you do have to put your hand to the plow. Like you do have to go and get stuff done. But my point is when you get in a place where your mind and your heart are still and quiet, which is very hard to do. You have to practice. That's meditation. You know, when you get to that point, that is when the magic happens and when your whole body calms down enough where that epiphany, that idea, that, you know, grand
thought
cosmic
process comes through.
Perfection comes through and you get that amazing idea which surpasses the days and weeks that you would have spent grinding doing other things, you know. So it's a beautiful combination of both. As a human and as an entrepreneur and going through life, you have to make that quiet time for yourself every day because that is so important and it will propel you leaps and bounds ahead of if you just let your mind just run all day and don't force it to be quiet and force your heart to be still where you can feel that, you know, divine knowledge come through.
What I love about Soaak also is it's easy. Like it can be layered onto other things. So you can be about to go to sleep and you're like, hey, I'm going to put it on an hour before I get into bed or during the fact that when I'm sleeping. Or you can just wear it with a wearable and it's easy kind of sync because you guys have done this big partnership with Aura as well. That you're kind of syncing everything together. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about it.
Okay. So Aura was a big deal for us. We about a year ago, we started imagining what it would be like if Soaak could be platform agnostic, wearable agnostic, and it could connect into any wearable and receive those metrics, those health metrics, like your sleep, your heart rate, your HRV, your readiness, things like that. Like, what if we could receive those into our app, let AI look at 100 buckets of frequency compositions that the public never sees, and based on that interface and interaction, present the consumer with something that's ready for them based on their own biometrics. So if you're getting ready to take a test, or if you're getting ready to do something physical, or if you're getting ready to go to bed, let's read your biometrics. You could answer even a short survey that pops up in the app that'll even pinpoint it more. And then we'll go in and reach into 100 buckets of frequency compositions, over 250 compositions, and it will pull out the exact thing you need in that moment. So with Aura, we started reaching out with them, and it was initially on one of the military deals that we were doing. So there's a very complicated story about that, but it ultimately it will allow Soaak and Aura to pair up to offer something to the warfighter that will help them. And but on the consumer side, we're able to do what we call the closed loop system. So the closed loop system would be when you put an Aura ring on or any wearable, but in this case Aura, and it tells you your readiness score, your heart rate variability, etc. And you then feed that into the Soaak app, And then the Soaak app will actually give you a frequency.
What you need at that time.
Exactly, from your own biometrics, and then you
Tweak it.
You do that, and then once you've completed that session, the loop closes when you go back to or whatever wearable, and you hear how that and you see what that has changed. So that's
and you can track it in real time, which is incredible.
Exactly, yeah, real time and overtime. So in real time on a day-to-day basis, and then over 6 months, a year, you can see how all of those things have improved. So,
and when it comes to things like, you're going to eventually partner with Whoop and Garmin and all that stuff, how do you know which? Because everyone does it a little bit differently, right? There's another one coming out of India as well. This other founder that I bumped into at a conference that's basically taking and has like a 2-week life, the ring that they're going to make and all that stuff. I'll tell you about it after I get my phone.
oh wow,
But
yeah.
it's really interesting. So each one of these does it in a slightly different way. Which one do you think is the most efficient? Have you guys been able to track that back, saying, okay, or it might be more efficient than a Garmin, or a Garmin might be more efficient than a Whoop?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think they all are pretty efficient. We at corporate wear Aura
Okay.
right now. We think that's one of the most. But when we're talking to military people, like if some people go into certain missions, they can't even wear a ring, so they'll use a Garmin strap or a Whoop band
Yeah.
because they just can't,
Right.
wear anything else. So that's why we're platform agnostic. But at corporate, we have seen the most detailed studies from the Aura, the Aura Corporation.
Out of 10 years of doing like this research, if somebody was to use Soaak Technologies for 7 days, what is the first benefit you think they will see or experience?
$500,000 in your bank account.
Laura?
You're gonna sleep like a baby.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is it.
yeah, yeah.
No,
She's like, don't talk about
yeah.
money.
Well,
Do you have a money protocol?
Yeah.
we do.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
it's
this
called
is
My
it.
Money. We have 21-day programs on our app too. There's
Bring
there's
it.
a lot going on
Yeah,
inside
I'm
the app.
ready.
But
It's really
yes,
cool.
there's a lot you
Guided
can do. But
meditations. We
Yeah.
partnered with Michael Beckwith. When Michael and I met Dave in Austin, we were on his podcast.
Yeah.
And we did that whole thing. But when we were on Michael's podcast originally, that put us in like 20 or 30 countries, just that. So we've got this master of meditation that we've actually partnered with. He's our director of mindfulness. And so we have guided meditations inside our app that we don't a lot of times get a chance to
Yeah.
talk about. You just get it and say, oh, this is extra. But those things, I think,
Yeah.
is what you were getting at.
Yeah. I think the very first thing, honestly, is just anxiety relief. And even if you don't have anxiety per se,
I think everybody has some sort of
has like the
anxiety.
jitters.
Yeah.
It's almost like a coffee jitter. Where,
Yeah.
when you listen to the frequency, it's almost like you take a big deep breath, like a big glass of water kind of thing, and you're like, oh, I feel calmer.
okay,
So
things are
that's
better.
almost like an
Yeah, yeah.
instant. No matter
Yeah.
really what frequency you listen to, it just calms your system. It calms your nervous system. Sleep is the one thing that everybody's like, wow, I'm really sleeping good.
Right.
But then over time, it's that real mood boost where you kind of come out of that depressive
Consistently.
state, or
Yeah.
because of all the different things. But really, it's just calming your whole body enough to where you're like, I kind of feel
I feel
normal
good about
again.
this.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed right now because my app store is not working.
Oh.
And I've been dying to download, your app since I heard about it. And I'm just like, and I'm actually, it's so funny how the universe works. So I was actually supposed to fly to Argentina last night, but you guys were coming on the show and the team was like, listen, we found this incredible brand for you. We really want you to meet them. And then I started doing research on you, looking into you. And I was like, I love this stuff. I've been talking about it. So I literally stayed back to speak to you guys before flying out tonight.
Wow.
So I changed my flight, but
Well,
I
thank
had
you.
done a ketamine IV with cerebralizum, which creates all this new neuroplasticity
Yeah.
just 2 days ago.
Oh, cool.
And with this functional medicine doctor that I see, because I do these protocols with him. And in that, it was all my kind of theme out of it was like personal expansion and sovereignty on nervous system, but sovereignty on yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so funny that we sit down literally 2 days after I do that IV. And I stayed back to record this episode because I was so excited to meet you guys and all the work that you were doing, because I have been talking about frequencies and nervous system regulation and all of this stuff for the last 6 to 8 months when I started discovering more of it and people started telling me about it. And all the stuff that you're saying is what I think the masses need to learn about.
Yeah.
There's ways to regulate yourself. There's ways to not grab another pill. There's ways to go back into your body and really embody who you are and what you're feeling without having to turn to something external.
Yes.
But you need something to guide you within.
Right.
Yes.
Most of us have become so disconnected from ourselves that we're living out here. So how do we go back into our bodies? And most of us feel so uncomfortable when we go back in because we're like, wait, we're so intimate with ourselves
Right.
that we spend so much time being distracted by the outside world.
That's right. Yeah, I love that, and I'm so glad that you have experienced all of that. And
Yeah,
I think it's
no,
just
but
perfect timing. And thank
I'm
you
so
for
annoyed I
sharing.
can't download the app on this 9-hour flight. I literally called my executive assistant. I was like, I need to go to the app store because I can't download anything.
Go get a new phone.
Yeah, no, I do because I was trying to download it and use the frequencies, and the team was like, download the app. And I'm like, my app store is not working. It's
God,
not letting me
that's
download
annoying.
anything.
Remind me, and I'll get you taken care of before you get on the plane.
Please,
Okay.
please,
Just-
because I'm like,
you'll be blown away by what you'll experience. I know, but I want to back up and say something. So we get a lot of podcasts in front of us as well. Like
Yeah.
we look at other podcasts. We have people coming into town sometimes, and many times we'll fly out and meet different people. And out of this list that we were looking at, when they said Biohack-it, something went off in me that immediately said
Thank
yes.
you.
And I didn't, and I'm not trying to make this a bigger deal than it is, but very few times, I could probably count on one hand in the last 2 years, has that happened.
yeah,
And I heard the name. I didn't even know your name,
yeah.
but I heard it. And it was a yes, like it was a resounding yes. And so we took our whole family, we had other things
Yeah.
that were going on. We brought our
You
whole
guys are gonna
family
make
down
me
here.
cry.
No, we had our whole family down here,
Yeah.
and we couldn't say no matter what. And I
Yeah.
know there's a last minute travel arrangements and this and that, but I know more than anything that we were supposed to be here today, and wherever this goes, God bless it and all of that. But I know we were supposed to be here.
And the same thing, I'm telling you, it was so aligned. I'm like, guys, I need to leave Thursday. They're like, no, we want you to really know about this brand that we found, and you guys, you're going to love it. And I literally changed my flight because I'm like, this is so aligned with everything that I believe, the sort of products that I'm trying to promote, the sort of education that I'm trying to give out.
Right.
And, and I tell David all the time, and he's my producer, he's amazing. I'm like, Dave, there's so many shows out there. There are creators who started 10 years ago, 11 years ago before me.
Right.
But I'm so authentic in my message and how I want to show up in the world. And I'm really hoping, to promote voices like yours, to take technology like this to my audience and teach them about it in a way because I'm so excited about it.
Right, right. No, we can tell that from you, and just
Thank
being
you.
here, whoever's listening right now, if you could feel the frequency in this room right
Yeah.
now, it's very positive, it's very uplifting, and I think this will do great things.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so excited that the team found you and you guys get to come on the show. And I'm excited to do a lot more with Soaak and support you guys with all the things that you're on to.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. However, we can lock arms and get it out to more people.
Absolutely.
Like she said, she wanted to get this out to the most amount of people that she could at once without charging $1,000 a month.
Yeah,
And that was
absolutely.
her big deal. So, through some special things that we'll do with you and your audience, we really want to offer that to people. And there's no contracts with us either, because you try it and we know you're going to like it. Like and this sounds like
what you offer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know who you are. You know what you offer.
That's right.
Yeah,
You
and
can stand
we've seen
behind your
enough.
product.
We've seen enough people. I mentioned Michael Beckwith before.
Yeah.
He reviewed it for a little over 8 months, may have been close to a year, and I was really getting upset because I thought, I know he likes this, but he's got a huge name, he's got a huge following, and all this and that. And he finally called me and he goes, Henry and Laura, he goes, do you guys know what you have right here?
Right.
He goes, do you actually know that? He was taking it to people who weren't responding to other even pain medications. We've got a pain frequency on there
Amazing.
that were requesting it. And just, I could go on and on and on, but the bottom line is bringing the best that we have to people all the time. And every time we get an update or a download, or we can make that turn from a technology standpoint to offer something that's holistic and can
really change someone's
can
life.
help you from
That's
the
right.
inside out,
Yeah.
then
That's
we're
it.
there.
What else do you
Yeah,
need?
that's it for us.
Yeah, and I think for me, just the passion behind the business itself is creating an awareness of, you can change your own life all by yourself without any help, really, without anybody, without anything outside yourself. You have, like you were
100%.
saying, you have everything you need inside yourself to create the change you want to see. So, part of us going out doing these podcasts and doing the marketing and all those things is just be aware that there are so many things
Empowering
out
the
there.
individual.
Yes, that you can do. You can change your life. You are not stuck where you are at. That is a lie.
You can change your reality with your
You can have
thoughts
the joy that
and your
overflows from
frequency.
within you. You can tap into that. So we hope that Soak can help you just get quiet for a
Yeah.
minute and very easily,
And
passively
tune into yourself.
tune into yourself. Yeah, and it become a habit. So
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And thank you for flying down and doing this.
Yes.
I appreciate
it's
you
been a
both so
blast.
much and your adorable son. And
Thank you.
your work is
Thank you.
so incredible. And I always get really excited when I meet amazing founders who have great science behind them, have researched this product that's really helping people change. That's really why I started the show, because my mom passed away from cancer. And I was like, I'm not a doctor. I can't go to medical school, but I have all these strong intuitions about how I think people should be healing their bodies
Yeah.
Right.
and different modalities that they should be applying. Like
Right.
chemotherapy or a vaccine is not necessarily the way to go.
Right.
Mhm.
And so the show was really started with the intention to bring stories of practitioners, founders, experts forward to help other people heal. And our motto at the show really is curiosity heals. That's like the motto of the
Love
Yeah,
brand.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
That's
wow.
fantastic.
you.
Well,
What
you're
a
doing an
great
amazing
story.
job, and you're
Yes.
Thank
like I
you.
said,
Thank you.
the spirit, the vibe, the frequency we're feeling now is at a
Amazing.
very, very high level. And thank you for staying back. There's no way we could say no. There's no way you could say
No.
no.
Yeah.
So,
It was
No, I
meant
was
to
so,
super
be.
excited.
so here
Yeah.
we
No,
here
it's
we are, but
amazing.
we appreciate that.
Thank
and
you
we,
so much.
we-
So people can find you guys on the App Store. They're listening to this. They can just go download you, play around with the frequencies.
Yes.
If
Free
you had to
trial.
tell them the first 3 frequencies for new users to try, what would it be? Besides the money one.
yeah.
Well, yeah, wealth and prosperity for sure. But if you're a woman, the women's hormone support is one of my favorites because it just
Amazing.
makes you feel great. Sleep and anti-anxiety are mine.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love probably the same ones for anxiety, depression.
Women's hormone support.
Yeah, I was going to
yeah.
say.
I
Henry's
didn't
like
say that
women's
third
hormone
one yet. I
support.
did not say that
Men's
third one yet.
hormone support too.
Yeah, there's one for the guys that there's one called Male Sexual Health that's
Amazing.
really, really strong. There's another one I listen to before I go in the gym, and I've had a couple of football players that I know that are really good. Like they really are into their bodies and they
Yeah.
see that difference immediately.
Wow.
They won't go into the gym without listening to our frequencies
Which one
before.
is that?
Amazing.
The exercise enhancement.
the exercise enhancement.
Yeah.
But
What's it
but-
called? Exercise
Exercise
enhancement.
enhancement,
Okay.
yeah, and that's men or women.
Yeah.
But
Okay, amazing.
but just go to Soak, SOAAK. We put the extra A in there.
Yeah.
Soak.com and yeah. And I think for your audience, we're doing a free 30 days or
Yes.
something if they do soak.com/.
I'm going to make my whole team do this for 30 days
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
report their findings.
Yes,
David, we're
I
going to get on
love
this as a
that.
team.
You're going to
A
get more
team
productive
exercise. 'Cause I want to be
people,
like, listen, I
yes.
want everyone to try the things that I believe in.
Yeah, everybody's going to
and
come in all
deploy it to
zen.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn app store.
Yeah.
But I'm so annoyed, guys. I'm literally sitting there. I'm like, I have a 9-hour flight. I
Oh,
wish
you
these
do
frequencies
need it.
would work. No, I
Yes.
really wanted to do them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
thank
Well,
you so much
Get
for
it
coming
for
on the
you.
show, Henry and
Yes.
Laura. I've loved meeting you and hearing about your story and just the incredible work that you guys are doing and how I'm so excited to bring this to our audience.
Yes,
awesome. Thank you so much.
nice
Pleasure
to
being
meet
here.
you.